on Georgia and two different messages on Russia. The first one, the Senate Armed Services, more negative than positive, casting Moscow as the aggressor. But hours later, members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee side with Russia.
The recent fighting in Georgia and in its breakaway provinces was started by Georgia. The Georgians broke the truce, not the Russians. And no amount of talk of provocation and all this other stuff can alter that fact.
We don't need to be in Georgia protecting a pipeline. We're not there for democracy. We're there to protect an oil pipeline, and that to me is tragic.
No concrete proposals came out of the day-long hearings, except one. Senator Hillary Clinton called for the creation of a special commission to get the facts straight before judging Russia.
Rather than seeking to isolate them, which I think is not a smart proposal, we should be much more strategic. We've got to answer for ourselves. Did we embolden the Georgians in any way? Did we send mixed signals to the Russians?
The answer of U.S. officials was a clear no.
For many months, I, my colleagues, and Secretary Rice had told the Georgians clearly and unequivocally that any military action initiated by them would be a mistake and lead to a disaster.
The panel of U.S. officials was quick to condemn Russia, but when asked about the specific actions towards Moscow, answers were vague. And the Secretary of Defense, Eric Edelman, said the U.S. is looking at all options, including blocking Russia's WTO accession. Yet when it comes to Iran, working with Russia remains in America's national interest.
Russia has been a constructive partner in the P5+1 process with respect to Iran's nuclear program.
The officials were also confident that using force against Russia or providing military aid to Georgia is not an option. But they struggled when confronted with this question.
Were there any requests from the president of Georgia or other high-ranking officials for the U.S. to provide active military support for the Georgian military?
After the pause came an unanimous denial. The officials also insisted that Georgia has not been promised membership in NATO, but lawmakers were quick to question the statement.
That is inconsistent with the Bucharest summit statement. It also seems to be inconsistent with the statement of Vice President Cheney in Georgia. Those sound like promises to me.
Concerns over NATO's eastward expansion have to do with the alliance's rule. An attack on one is an attack on all. Had Georgia been in NATO, the organization would have been required to send troops.
The United States is facing a tough choice when it comes to Russia. Making a decision will require assessing its foreign policy's objectives, including the ones that have to do with Iran and the global war on terror. Anna Moya, RT,